Hey, welcome back to the garage. Today we are removing the mirrors from the bike. I'm trying to get into the middle cowl on the other side, so I need to remove the mirrors. So I'll just walk you through how to remove and replace the physical mirror from the bike. The only time I've ever had to do that is when I'm trying to get into this middle cowl, or when I was installing this Panavista mirror, I had to remove the mirror from the bike. So it's not something you do frequently, and it's really not very hard. It's a few bolts. Only gotchas, or if you have this wing vent here, the threading can get messed up, and there's a hole back here you can drop bolts through to be careful of. So, all right, so let's go talk about it. All right, tool conversation. You're gonna watch Blue Bucket. Got my mirrors, page 2-19 in my service manual. In case you don't know, I always do this. All my buckets have that. So 2-19, pretty straightforward right here. It's only a few bolts. You're going to want a 5mm hex. I use a socket, you can use a T-handle. And you're going to want an 8mm socket. There are 2 bolts to remove. So those are the tools you need. It's not very hard. 5mm, 8mm socket, bucket. That's it. We will start with removing the upper air deflector, or what my wife and I affectionately call wing vents. If you have an older car, you know what that is. This is just a 5mm hex. Two bolts. All right, wing vent is off. Last bolt we need to take out is this one right here. There are 3 things holding this piece of plastic in right now. There is a locking tab here that locks onto this piece right here. There is a hook right here that locks onto this piece right here. And there is a hook right here that hooks onto the metal piece right here. So what we want to do is fold our mirror about halfway in. That releases some pressure on the back side over here. We want to release this guy while we're pushing down on this. The easiest way to push down on both of these hooks is right here. So we push in right here to pull it back, and we're pushing down with this other finger until it just pops out of the way. The next thing we need to do is remove these 2 bolts right here. They're the only thing physically holding the mirror on, but you'll note that there is this beautiful little hole right here, which is a great place if one of these bolt falls. The gods of all bolts and dryers will drop that thing right down this little hole, and you'll be fishing it out of that middle cowl. Ask me how I know. So, what we're going to do is push a little rag down in that hole. Keep that from happening to us. And we're going to take our 8mm and take this one off. I like to start on the bottom because the top one, as you loosen it, will put pressure on it to pull out. We'll see that in just a minute. And we're going to take this guy, pop it on there. Now you see this mirror already wants to fall off because the only thing holding it on is this bolt. So what you can do is, as you back this bolt out, you just bring the whole mirror assembly with it. That ensures you don't drop the bolt or anything like that. Keeps everything together. Makes it real easy to pull this away and then pull the bolt out. Then you can lay this down against the bike right there. Now the only thing left to do is disconnect it. Now this little jumper in here is because I have the Panavista mirrors on here with lights in them. So you may not have this extra connector. So as you pull this out, what you're going to do is grab this connector right there. There's a little clip that you have to pull up, and then this will just pull right out for you. If you have the wing vent, the upper air deflector, then you'll have 3 holes on this piece. The upper air deflector goes through these 2 holes, and this is the stock hole for a mirror if you don't have the upper air deflector. So yours may look like this one, where it only has the 1 hole instead of this one with all 3 holes. If you have these 2 holes and no upper air deflector, somebody took it off. All right, so putting this back on is just the opposite of taking it off. We're going to click this in the hole. Make sure our little tab side is up. You'll hear it click. Then you want to put it down in the boot, right here. And we line this guy up here. Right there. We stuff our rag in the hole. Just be careful you don't get your rag caught behind the mirror. Just like when we took it off, we'll start with the top so that we stop the sag on it, kind of the opposite. Bottom bolt, pop it in the hole, make sure our rag is going to keep everything in place for us. I don't have a torque spec for these. I just follow the Guten tight method my dad taught me. It's tight enough. So, all right, that bracket's back in. Now we got to put back on the plastic cover. All right, just like when we took it off, we're going to push our mirror in, not quite all the way, about halfway. The tip of this guy is flexible, so we're going to take advantage of that. We're putting it back up in here. And we're going to push this guy into the slot first. And then we can slide the bottom piece right up into place, pull our mirror out, and that's it. On the bottom side here, we're going to take the stock bolt, put it in the center hole here. Now if it fights you, you're probably cross-threading, so don't put a lot of pressure on these. There we go. Because this is at an angle. Again, soft metal on soft metal, do not ever really crank a bolt to get it moving. You know, when I had old cars, you did that a lot. The hole would be rusted or whatever, but on here, everything is pretty much aluminum, so nothing is really rusting. If you're fighting it, you're probably cross-threaded, so don't. Now all that's left is our two wing vents. So the same word of caution here, you're taking a very hard bolt and driving it into an aluminum set of threads. So be very careful when you're putting these in, you do not cross-thread them. This particular set of bolts are weird because they're not straight to anything, so they can really mess with you when you're putting them in. So don't cross thread these, or you'll be buying a new mirror bracket. Don't over tighten them, just snug them up. That's it. That mirror's back on. All right, that'll just about finish it up there. So it's not very hard if you don't have the upper air deflector. It's one bolt here and two on the inside. The air deflector adds two, so not a very hard task at all. It takes a few minutes, honestly. So hopefully this helps you out, and keep your wheels down. Have a safe ride.